Hi, I'm Lervin, and this is my full guide for Dishonored any percent. I'm currently ranked 5th in the category, have more than 700 hours of playtime according to Steam, and have been making smaller guides for this category for a while, so I feel quite confident in making this video and in the video's validity. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me after finishing this video. The guide will start by covering the basic concepts and glitches required for the run before moving on to covering the specific route currently in use. I will also take the time to explain certain alternate routes whenever the optimal route is too hard to do consistently for people who are just starting out. I am following a route that is only possible on version 1.2 of Dishonored, and as such it will require you to downpatch the game. The first link in the description of this video is my own written setup guide for the game. I would recommend following the entire setup guide before attempting to run the game or attempting to practice the route from this video guide. Now if you're just watching this to find out if you want to run the game, feel free to skip this step for now. When going through the route, I will start each split with a clip from Voetiem's world record run, to give you a feel for the split at full speed. Voetiem's full run will be the second link in the description. Thank you Vo for allowing me to use this run in the guide, check him out. The clips from Vo's run will be followed by me doing live commentary over my own gameplay to explain the specifics of a split. When I'm playing, you'll be able to see my inputs in the lower left hand corner. If you find yourself struggling with a trick, pay attention to the inputs I do. I will also include an index of the segments of this guide in the video description so you can quickly find what you're looking for. Remember that everyone who speedruns starts out slow, and the only way to improve is to keep playing. With all that said, let's get on to the guide. Okay, so some things to note about the options menu. First thing, we play on easy for speedruns. This is simply because you take less fall damage and you get more mana from a single potion than you do on higher difficulties, allowing the run to just be faster. So in some ways, playing on easy makes the run more difficult. It's also just more fun. Auto-using mana elixirs I would really recommend turning off, just because otherwise you might use mana potions when you weren't intending to, and it also makes you more aware of your mana route. The rest of this is all up to you. I would recommend turning kill cam mode to off too, so you get less kill cams. I would also recommend turning off show tutorial notifications, because otherwise you will get pop-ups throughout the game whenever you pick up a new item or whatever that will slow you down. For controls, you can see mine here. Everything here is basically preference. And a lot of people do this in a lot of ways, but here you can see mine anyway. A lot of people would recommend rebinding shortcut 7, because this is where Blink is, to have it closer by. You basically, for the speedrun, only use shortcuts 1 through 3 anyway, so just binding 7 to like 4 or 5 should usually grant you results, but I don't do that. For auto aiming, I would recommend turning that on, even for PC, just because it makes it so that you headshot stuff every time. For this specific speedrun, we don't have the crossbow, so it doesn't really matter, but in general, very good idea. For graphics, I would recommend turning everything down a bit. I would have my FOV set to whatever you find as preference, but texture detail and everything like that, I would recommend turning that down, just to see that you can get high enough frame rate to do stuff like elevators. And then if you find that you can do those things, I would recommend turning it back up to what you feel is you're comfortable with, where you still get the maximum amount of frames. I would turn off VSync. That's very important, because otherwise you will not get more than about 144 frames per second if you have that high of a monitor frame rate. But definitely turn this off. If you can, have the game in full screen because it runs smoother. Resolution as you want it. That's about it for the settings. The first basic concept I'm going to cover is vaulting. A vault allows you to increase your speed while you're climbing onto a ledge or an object. So, for example, this ledge here right outside the Hound Pit's pub. If I wanted to get over it, I could either climb up it, double jump over it, or do a vault. A vault will temporarily increase my speed while I'm running towards the ledge and getting over it. A vault is done by pressing space while in midair. So usually what you just want to do is run towards it and press space at the correct timing, and you will vault over the object. So you saw that that was not quite the height of a double jump, but it did increase my speed while I was going over it. This is a small optimization, but throughout the run there are a lot of places where you can vault. Therefore, you save a little bit of time for every individual vault, but a lot of time throughout the entire run. When falling in Dishonored, there are 5 different states that you can land in, the most obvious being death from fall damage, which I will not cover right here. Other than that, there are 4 states, 2 of which are useful to us. The first one being that you just fall with no animation and no fall damage taken. If you aim slightly higher than that, in this case towards this railing, you get a hard fall animation, but you do not take damage. This is slow as the animation takes about a second to happen, and also it stops your momentum. If you aim even higher than that though, you get what's called a damage cancel, where you take damage, you get no animation, and you keep going at full speed. If you aim even higher than that though, you get both the fall damage and the animation, which is also just as slow as normal hard fall. There are usually specific lineups for each time you want to do a damage cancel. For example, if you're standing right here, it's along this beam. And whenever I get to a damage cancel in the run, I will explain how I line up. Double blinking is a technique in Dishonored which allows you to cross big gaps like this one between the roof and the platform, using only agility 1 and blink 1. If you try to just normally blink over there, you will not get anywhere close. If you try to double jump and then blink, you get closer, but not really anywhere near it. But if you do what's called a double blink, which is done by double jumping, and then as soon as the double jump goes through, you blink, you can do another blink in midair before you land, and this is what a double blink is. Combining this with hard falls lends you a lot of creativity in how you want to approach a chasm like this one. And while it's not super hard to get the timing down, getting it down perfect so you get the damage cancels every time can be quite hard. So practice this a bit, and whenever there is a precise lineup for getting a damage cancel on a double blink, I will cover that in this guide. Okay, so elevators. An elevator is a glitch you can do on any 90-degree corner in the game, such as this one. And basically, the game treats any 90-degree corner as like a vaultable object, where you can vault it all the way to the top. So what you want to do is just find the magic pixel where you can do that, and press space. Since when you move backwards, you will always go through that spot, that is what we do. So you basically just want to stand completely towards the corner, towards the wall. So you want to hold in the direction of the wall, so in this case towards the right. Then move backwards and press space before you hit the magic pixel, while looking slightly into the corner. If you look too much towards the left in this case, right, if the wall is on the left, you will not be able to get it, but it just looks slightly into the corner, and then hold back and press space. You want to hold space for this. So if you're using the macro to emulate scroll wheel inputs, you will not want to use that button. You want to use your normal jump button for elevators. So you want to hold it, which is different from scrolling, spamming with scroll wheel. This is spamming with scroll wheel. This is holding space. Hope that makes sense. So yeah, look slightly into the corner, hold towards the wall, move backwards, and press space, and you'll get up. You saw right there that I did not get a climb up animation when I got here. Getting a climb up animation or not from an elevator depends a lot on the angle you get up there and also your frame rate. Because for elevators, frame rate is really important. I am now at 230 frames per second, and if you have anything lower than about 180 frames per second, you might struggle with a lot of the elevators that we do in any percent. But if you can't get any higher than that, there are alternatives, which I will cover when I get to them. We'll also cover each individual setup for an elevator when I get to those. So for this one, for example, I will cover how to get without climb ups most times, even though I couldn't get it right there. Slip clipping is a technique that allows us to force our camera through a wall and then blink. In this case, we're using a door. This door right here is very simple to practice with. It's in Campbell. If you don't save Martin and then move over here, you'll have this room to yourself. No one will enter, and you can practice slip clipping as much as you want on a very thin wall, which is a good place to start. So, to do a slip clip, you want to lean and sprint in the direction of the wall you're going through. So in this case, I'm doing a right side slip clip, so I'm leaning towards the right. Then you want to move into the wall and flick your camera. Flicking your camera too early will mean that you don't get very far into the wall. So you want to get completely inside the wall and then flick. When you then flick your camera, you will be able to blink to the other side. You can see the blink icon gets through the wall when I do it like this. And if you then just do the, or finish the blink, once the camera is through, Corvo will blink to the other side. It's quite a simple trick. It's still quite easy to mess up if you flick too early, if you don't stand too far enough away. So if you stand too close to the wall, you won't get nearly as far into it as if you start further away. So this is a trick you'll want to practice a bit before you start doing runs. It's also something that, like, a lot of different walls have a different density, so they will be easier or harder to do it with. I'd still recommend just practicing it with this very thin one first, and then moving on to the other ones, which I'll also show some specifics for when I get to them. For example, the door clip in Flooded, which a lot of people struggle with. But once you get it down, you can get it very consistently. So don't worry about it if you struggle with it starting out, because you will be able to get it quite consistently after a while. I'd also recommend looking down a little bit when once you're starting out. You can usually go further by doing like a straight slip clip, but it's also harder since you have to flick more. So just looking down means you have to flick less, so I'd recommend starting out like that. Then as a side note, I'd like to talk about sticky leaning. Once you play at about more than 130 frames per second and you lean, you will start getting stuck in lean. So as you can see on my input display, I'm not holding any of the leaning buttons, but I'm still leaning. This is both a benefit and a problem for us. Sticky leaning can be quite useful if you're, for example, have a keyboard where you can't press too many of the keys around each other at the same time, so that would allow you to slip clip like this really easy. This will be useful in, for example, weepers, which I'll get to. But it can also be a detriment because sometimes you don't want to be stuck in lean, and there's no button to unlean. So the way you want to unlean is by either pressing print screen, which will unlean you, or you can open the menu and close it again, or you can just quick save, which will also do it. All of these techniques work by lowering your frame rate, and that's how you do it. So if you have another way, if you, for example, want to use a frame rate bind to lower it, then that can also work. Just as long as you lower the frame rate, it should be fine. And under around 130, it starts behaving normally. This does, however, mean that slip clipping is a little bit easier, because if I was at 60 frames per second, like I just capped myself to, you will see that when I sprint towards the side, Corvo will stop leaning after a little while anyway. So that means that slip clipping is a little bit harder. So this is actually useful to us. Although it also can be quite annoying. But as you get more used to your slip clips, also blinking will stop you from leaning like that. So as soon as you get used to your slip clips, this will not be a problem, because once you blink through, you will not be stuck in lean anymore. Okay, so ASIS, also known as RE storage skips, also known as just storage skips, is a glitch that allows us to save dialogue wheel inputs into later dialogue wheels. So you see the prompt in the bottom left. If I press F through this and then repress F right away, it will allow me to save this input into a later cutscene. So you can see that I'm holding F now. And if I then go talk to Piero, usually he would have a dialogue wheel that I would have to go through the same animation. But since I have now stored the input from the last cutscene, it will skip the dialogue wheel altogether. You see it pops up very quickly in the bottom left corner, but it does not have to go through the animation, saving about 1.06 seconds every time. There's quite a few of these throughout the entire run, saving a total of over 20 seconds. And I will cover each individual one and point them out when I get to them. One thing to pay attention to, though, is that right now I have the dialogue, or I have the dialogue input saved, but if I now press any of my interact keys, so that's enter or scrolling in the direction of my use key, I will break the ass, meaning that, for example, by opening and closing this door, I now have to do the prompt, even though I held F for the entire duration. So to do an ass, you have to have a clear line between the two cutscenes where you don't have to press a use key again. Otherwise, it breaks the ass. Okay, so intro starts off fast. You want to start by doing a head boost off a Carnaw, vault onto this flag, then do 2 elevators to get to the top of this building so that you can skip a cutscene with Emily before landing on this railing. Then you want to vault off the plant, talk to Sokolov, and run up to the cutscene with the Empress and the Lord Regent. Then you want to move and talk to Jessamine. Give her the note as soon as you can.
It's a fair wind that brings you home to me. What news have you brought?
And right afterwards, you want to move to the right here and do an elevator. Right now, the game is going to start the fighting tutorial. And in order to skip this, we simply take as much fall damage as we can right as the fight starts. For some reason, they programmed this tutorial so that as a failsafe, if the player loses, the game still continues. And we abuse this fact by just taking an insane amount of damage right away and losing the fight instantly, instead of fighting them. The way we timed this is that you can see the 2 assassins spawn on the roof of the gatehouse right now. And once the assassin that is on the right now, once they blink, you want to move now. Then at some point during this cutscene, you want to start holding F to set up an ass into the first part of prison. The dialogue wheel is 9 seconds, and you want to press and hold F from some point during this cutscene before the Dishonored logo video starts playing. Okay, so let's run through intro at a little bit of a more leisurely pace. You want to start by doing a head boost off a Carnaw. This is done by first vaulting off of this thing, which gets you on top of his head, which just happens to line up with a head boost. A head boost just means that you get a little bit of speed while you're passing over someone's head if you land on them in the right way, which by doing this vault, you will do. If you're not comfortable with this, feel free to just go around like this, or just go get around Carnaw in any normal way. That only loses you about a second. But if you do the vault right there, and you do it right away before Carnaw has started moving, you will get the head boost off of him like that, which gets you over him really quickly. So, in order to do the vault onto the flag, you want to jump right as you get on top of these stairs, and then jump again right as you reach the flagpole. Onto the 2 elevators. So, elevator right here, stand against this wall, line up with this line right here, look straight forwards, like not up or down, and then you will get up to the middle of this. Getting up to the middle is normal, and then you just want to do another elevator with the same lineup to get to the very top. Once you're up here, you want to move forwards, vault onto this, and we'll get onto what you do after that in a second. If you're not comfortable with doing the 2 elevators, which a lot of new players aren't, because doing 2 elevators when you're starting out can be pretty hard, there is another backup. You want to just, instead of moving to the left, you want to move to the right here.
Hello, sir.
Get into this corner and look at this spot right here to the very right of that spot. And then do an elevator on the left, which brings you up here. Then you climb up, and you're in the same spot. It's a little bit shorter, it's a little bit slower, but not by much when you're starting out completely fine. Then, once you're up here, we want to skip a trigger with Emily right here, and so we want to fall down and survive. The best way to do this is just, or the only way to do this, is to stand on one of the sides. If you stand on the very top of this, you will always die from fall damage. You want to stand here and fall down onto the railing. If you just fall straight down, you will die. If you fall onto the railing from the middle, you will also die. So stand on one of the sides and land on one of the railings. Which railing doesn't matter, I land on the right. Then you vault off of that flow hour, and then it's on to talking to Sokolov. You want to jump into the cutscene just because it brings you further in, saves a little bit of time. And then this dialogue wheel is kind of weird, such as some others in the game, where you can press it before it actually pops up on screen. So I just start pressing F right away, and you see that the dialogue wheel starts going before it actually pops up on screen, saving a little bit of time. So just press F right as the cutscene starts, and then move up here into the cutscene with Jessamine and the Regent.
They're sick people.
Then after the cutscene, it's pretty much just what I said. during the run through of Voetiem, you want to go over to Jessamine and talk to her right away. I scroll pretty slowly here just to get an input in right away. Scroll too fast and it won't register. Then you want to move over here and do an elevator. For this part, you actually have a lot of time before the 2 assassins spawn, so take your time getting over here, take your time setting up this elevator. If you line up like with this like dark line right here, this is kind of diffused, but you also have a lot of time to line it up. If you line up like this and do an elevator, you would get up. Right now I did a partial elevator. On this very specific wall, you can get to the top by just spamming F if you only get halfway up, which will get you to the top. Then you can stand right here, you can move around a little bit if you prefer a little bit of a closer lineup. And then fall right as that assassin blinks. If you blink too late, it will trigger a cutscene that will play before this cutscene, and that loses about 10 seconds. Not ideal. Fall as quickly as you can after the assassin has blinked. Prison starts off with you still holding F to set up the ass from the end of intro. Then, after that, there's just a rest of the cutscene before you want to grab the key from under the bread, close the menu that pops up, and then open the door.
You should eat.
Following that is the prison door trick that a lot of people struggle with when they're starting out, and I will show you both the fastest and the easiest setup. So, pick up the key, go through the door, prison door clip, then an elevator to get to the top, and then there's just a bunch running before a couple of vaults, and then you're at the end. For this fall right here, you want to crouch in midair, because then you fall less into the water, meaning that you have a straighter line to the end of the split. So you vault it off of the trash can, then you vault off of this, and then just interact with the door and the split is over. Okay, so prison starts off with you running over here, getting the key, and then opening this door. Then there's the door we want to clip through. The first setup I'm going to show you starts by you moving into the corner right there, looking at the bottom right corner of this blob, moving backwards until you're looking at the corner of the metal box, the top right corner, then turning your camera around so you're looking at the corner of the actual door, and then spamming jump inputs with either macro or scroll wheel. I'm going to do that again at a little bit of a higher pace so you can see that it is actually possible to do fast. There you saw that I missed it a little bit, but I still got through. You don't necessarily have to be 100% perfect with your aim and lineup, and you can still do it. Just practice it a bit. The other setup that I want to show you is faster but less consistent, so I would not recommend starting out trying to do the second one. I would recommend doing the one I just showed you, but this one is faster, so I will also cover it in case you want to go for a really, really good time. So this setup requires you to line up so that the beam you can see on the wall back there is covered by this beam on the door, the thick one. Then you want to look a little bit to the left of the beam and scroll. It puts you in about the same location, that's why it still works, but it is a less consistent setup, so more people will probably struggle with that one. This elevator is the longest one we do in the route, and therefore it requires the highest frame rate. If your computer is not able to do it, this one, I have a couple of backups I will show you, but I'll show this after I've shown off the main route of the split. So to do the elevator, move into the corner, and then you see the wall back there. See where that meets this wall, and where the green and white part meet each other, right there. That's where you want to look, and then do the elevator. Once you're up, you want to run this way. Then at the end here, there's a little bit of a dip in the floor that you want to jump over before you jump again to get as far into the water as possible before you meet it. Touch it, I mean. Crouch in midair. Vault off of the trash. Vault again. And interact with the door. Then the backup strats, the first one is doing the same elevator, but after you've set yourself up for the elevator, you want to quick save and quick load. Waiting on a loading screen stops the timer we use, and therefore you don't lose time from waiting here for a couple of seconds, and you can get your frames up before doing the elevator. Then you just want to wait on the loading screen and then instantly do the elevator, and that's how that strat works. The other option is to do what's called the console elevator, because it is possible on very, very low frame rates. So you want to start by just vaulting on top of that, getting up here, getting up this area. You want to line it up so you're standing on the middle of the pipe. Look at this spot on the wall. Then do an elevator to get up. Then you meet the main route right here. And there's nothing different for the end of this. I'm just going to cut off right now. Then for sewers, you want to start by doing this elevator. This elevator brings us out of bounds, and being out of bounds in sewers means that we don't get the cutscene of Corvo picking up his tools, saving about 15 to 20 seconds. It also means we don't have to do swordless for the entire route, which means that we save a little bit of time all over the run. Climbing onto that girder is hard. Vault over this. Vault. There's a lot of vaults in this split, I'm not gonna lie. Vault, also known as the Toasty Vault, that one. Then jump down here. Then you guessed it, it's a vault. Climb up here. Then it's time for the sewer climb, which Vo does very quickly. Then you want to vault. Climb up to this pole. Vault. Vault. Fall down. And then you climb up here, fall to the right so that Samuel spawns, and run to the end.
Over here. I'm Samuel.
Sewers starts off with doing the elevator. The way you line this up is that you get completely into the corner, line up with the right side of this blob, and then just do the elevator. Once you're up here, you're stuck under this roof. On version 1.2, you can get through it by either uncrouching or sprinting. If you're on version 1.4, you cannot get through this roof and you cannot do this route. So be on 1.2 and then just sprint and move forwards to get through. Then you want to move over here, jump to get past an invisible ledge, jump again to get on top of this, and jump to get a damage cancel. Then vault over that little pole and vault to get on top of this. Now, the next thing you want to do is to get on top of this girder right here. So you want to jump from this floor onto that. The problem is that this floor right here is slanted a little bit, so that if you're standing too far to the right, you just won't get up. So you need to come at it with a little bit of speed, so you are coming from the top. It's pretty easy to do this from the side to get up, but if you want to be as fast as possible, you want to come from the front of it, which is done by lining up so that you fall down with this large pipe right here, with the left side of this pipe. So if you fall down like that, land and then just flick to the right, you will get up. Then right here you can see that to get further up here, there's 2 climb ups you have to do. To skip both of those climb up animations, you just want to move forwards and free scroll and you'll get past it. Then you want to vault on top of this. The timing for that is kind of precise, but with a little bit of practice you'll be able to get it consistently. Then you just want to vault off of this too. And then it's onto the Toasty Vault. To do the Toasty Vault, you want to start by doing just a regular vault to get up there. But if you do that, you have to do the second climb up animation as you just saw. So instead, after having started the vault, you just start free scrolling in the middle, and you will get through with just 1 climb up animation. This section has a vault to get all the way up here. The timing for this is kind of precise though, and it's pretty easy to miss. And if you do miss it, you might fall down here. A lot of people think you can't get up from here, but if you just run around this rock, you can get back up and continue your run. Also, if you are not comfortable with doing the vault in one, which a lot of people won't be, it's possible to just get on top of this and then stand here, jump around, find the point where you can climb up. Then you want to jump up here, jump a little bit to the right there so that you get the climb up. Then it's onto the sewer vault. The way you want to do the sewer vault is you want to move into this position right here, the right side of this black dot. So you just want to run towards it, find that black dot, and now you're lined up. Because then when you turn around, you can see I have the climb up prompt in the bottom right. Then you want to stand here and crouch preferably also lower your frame rate to 60, although this is not mandatory, it just makes it even more consistent. So you want to lower your frame rate to 60, stand here, and then you want to spam jump inputs either with macro or free scroll, and flick to the right. Then you will climb all the way up and be on top of this. This is quite tricky. A lot of people struggle with the timing, but there really isn't much more to it than what I just said. You just have to learn how to do this, and also how to do it quickly. So line up with that right side of that blob, look here, and then don't mess up the timing, and you'll be up there. Then you just want to turn this way and run over here, and vault on top of that, so that you can jump over and get over here. Again, here we have another sloped floor. So you want to stand at the very top of the floor when you're jumping, so that you can get up here. If you're standing too close to it, you'll once again get a similar situation to the pole I showed you earlier. So make sure you get on top of it, then turn around, jump to get up here, vault over that, vault there. Then to fall down here, don't jump, because you will die from fall damage, but just fall down like that. And for this section, you want to jump on top of the fence, and then jump again to get further forwards, and climb up here. If I were to just normally run forwards now, Samuel will not be at the end of this tunnel. So you see there's no one here, and that's because we skipped a trigger. So in order to get Samuel to spawn, you want to fall down to the right here. When you can hear the train noise or the sound of the announcement, you know he will spawn. So just fall down to the right here. Vault off of either this thing or off of the dumpster right here. Like that. And then just finish it. So a little bit faster. That usually looks something like this. And then just finish the split. At the start of Outsider, you want to be holding left as you're stepping off of the boat. For some reason, the game tries to move your camera in weird ways towards the right as you start, but holding left negates that. So make sure that you're holding left, sprint, and forwards right here. Then you want to go into the bar and talk to Havelock and Martin. You want to do an ass off of their cutscene into the one with Piero. So start holding F right after that dialogue wheel. Hold it all the way till you talk to Piero right now. Then it's time for Ferret Fetch, which is the name of this trick where you pick up the oil tank from down there. Then there's a dialogue wheel, and then you want to say no to Piero. He wants to sell you shit, you don't have money yet. Now, you want to do an ass off of this dialogue option, the last one with Piero. And you also want to do the Outsider's Warp, which is done by spamming a jump input in one of the last frames before this cutscene fades out, which will bring you through the roof above you when you spawn in, right up to the Outsider. So you will see now, you go through the floor, and then you do the ass that I also mentioned. So you want to do both of those things at the same time. And for this next section, just see where he blinks and where he makes potions. So that's right there for potion 1. Potion 2. There really isn't a lot of to comment on a lot of these just movement sections. But right here, you want to grab that potion as the cutscene is fading out, which can be a little bit tricky, so we'll get back to that. In just a couple of blinks. Getting to the Outsider with no mana. Pick up the rune. Here you can spam numpad 1 to close this menu, because for some reason that closes menus, so you don't have to actually time closing this. Then press F to start the dialogue, or skip the dialogue with the Outsider. For this section, this is where we actually use the Void Walker's Arsenal DLC. So this is the 100% yes route. Because of this, you want to get the bone charms, 1 bone charm and 2,000 coins in this room. So that's the bone charm called Void Channel, and then the 4 pouches bringing your total money to 2,000, so that you can buy full potions, buy the rune, buy full spring racers, 3 grenades, and also a backup bullet. Then you want to equip agility and the Void Channel, or upgrade agility and equip Void Channel before blinking over Callista and going to Samuel
Ready to go?
ending the split.
Just give the signal.
So at the start of Outsider, it's just as I said, you want to move over to the cutscene. To do this you want to press F right afterwards, like immediately after, just repress. Then move over to Piero. To get this whale tank is a little bit weird. It's all based on your placement and your camera angle though, so you just play around with it a bit and you will, after a while, find a consistent setup for it. Then press F once to pick it up and go down and put it in there. Do the dialogue wheel, then as I said, say no to Piero here. Then it's time to actually show you how to do the outsider warp. Since I'm using free scroll, I start scrolling before the last dialogue option, just so that I don't accidentally scroll in the wrong direction, ruining my ass. But if you're using macro, just press it at some point right before the loading screen. So press F once to do this, F again to do the ass. So I'm holding F, then I stop scrolling during the loading screen. And you get through the floor, and then the ass happens right here. Then it's just as I said, you want to get this potion. I get it with scroll wheel because it's a little bit easier. Then you want to get the potion there, same thing, also scroll wheel. Then for this, to not get a damage cancel, I just blink towards this part of the fence down here. Then to get this potion, while you're, while the cutscene is happening, you want to blink so that you get the climb up, or the climb prompt on the blink. Then run forwards and scroll to pick it up. You can pick it up actually through the lid, as long as the lid is moving. Some people like to do this going to the side, but as long as you pick it up during, it's fine. If you miss it, for some reason the game locks your camera angle here for a while, so you cannot turn around right away, but just pick it up if you miss it. Then move up here, blink, 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 blink. Pick up the rune. As I said, numpad 1, so I'm just spamming numpad 1 right now. Closes this. Make sure that you don't have global hotkeys on live split if you want to do this, because then you will split every single time you press numpad 1. Do the dialogue wheel with the outsider, and then you're through that section. Upon waking up, you want to blink over here and pick up the Bone Charm Void Channel. It is right there. Pick up that before you pick up the pouch, so that Void Channel is always the first Bone Charm you pick up. Then you want to move over here and pick up this pouch. This pouch is laying on top of a book, so you only want to press F once. You don't want to do this with scroll wheel. If you press more than once, you will open this menu, which is slow. Then pick up this pouch. Doesn't matter if you get a Bone Charm or two. Pick up this pouch, same thing with the Bone Charms. Then blink out the window, getting the damage cancel, and talk to Piero. You can turn around while Piero is talking to line up with the next part. Then you just want to press F to talk to him. Now for the shopping section. You want to start by first buying the rune, then buying all the spring racers, then the mana potions, then the grenades, and then the backup bullet at the end. In this game, you can buy faster if you press F and left click alternating between them. So if you just do with left click, it's like that fast. If you do both, you can do it much faster. So buy them in that order. This bullet is not necessary to buy, but it is a little bit safer to have more ammo, so you don't lose much time. Most people just buy it. Then you want to instantly open the powers menu, upgrade agility, and then open the Bone Charm menu. Since Void Channel was the first Bone Charm we picked up, you can actually just go into the Bone Charm menu, move your mouse down under Void Channel and press F and it will equip. You don't have to hit it. So you can just do that, which is very fast. Bring out Blink. Blink down here. and go talk to Havelock. Then for this next section, Callista is sitting right here. And if you move too close to her, she will start talking to you. So you want to just blink above her to get to Samuel. The blink above her can be a little bit precise. If you don't want to do that, just move over here and blink down to Samuel like that. Which is the end of the split. So at the start of Campbell, you want to first blink on top of the pipe, then over the fence, and then get to the potions. Use a potion before picking them up. So blink, 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 use potion, pick up both of them, get on top of the wall of light, damage cancel back down, get over this wall of light by just blinking right above it, pick up a potion, pick up a rune, get to the next area. At the start of this area, you don't want to blink right away because you want to regen a little bit of mana first. Then just get to Campbell's office. Do that blink as a double blink, pick up the potion, slip clip through the door, kill Campbell, pick up the gun if you want it, then slip clip back out, get the runes, slip clip out of bounds, heal yourself and fall to the door. Then there's a couple more blinks before a damage cancel, and at the end right here, we now do a glitch that was not discovered when Vo did this run. The glitch is called Campbell, and I will explain how to do it once we get to that point of my run through. And it saves about 10 seconds.
Are you ready to go?
So, as I mentioned, at the start of Campbell, you want to start by getting on top of the pipe and getting over the fence. And then blinking up here. Right now I'm full on potions, so I want to pick up the mana potion after I've already used one. The way that a lot of people do this, that is equally fast as the way I do it, is by going like this, blinking right into the door, using the potion, turning around, and continuing. The other variation that is a lot more fun, but doesn't save any time, I just find it a little easier, is to do that as a double blink, picking both of those up outside, and then falling down here. So, get on top of the pipe, over the fence, double blink, pick up both potions, and get on top here. Then to get a damage cancel from down here, you want to line up so that you're looking with these letters on the middle row of the sign. I aim all the way to the right because that means I don't land on that bush, so I just move forwards, looking there. Jump to get back over here. Then right here, this wall of light, you can simply jump over. This cannot be done with the same wall of light in Gloden Cat. So you just be specific about it. Just if you look straight forwards, you will get that quite often. So just look straight forwards, double jump, and you'll get over. Then you want to blink over here, jump and pick up that potion, jump and pick up the rune, preferably without reading that note, and then move on to the next sub area. Just a quick note, if you're having trouble blinking over this wall of light, it is completely fine to just go to the right and removing that whale oil tank. It's a little bit slower, but when you're starting out, it really doesn't matter. Then you want to move up towards the actual person, Campbell, getting on top of this, getting on top here. Then this blink right here, you want to do as a double blink, and by that I mean you want to do it as the double jump goes through, so that you move forwards while gaining upwards momentum, like that. Blink over here, then the same thing here as a double blink, jump and blink to get through the window, turn around to pick up the potion, vault over the chair, and get through here. Then for killing Campbell, there are two different variations. One of them is slightly faster, while the other one gives you the gun, and having the gun is just safer. So you want to place a spring razor on the ground so that Campbell moves in consistent ways. And then either you want to pickpocket him to pick up the pouch before he dies, or you want to wait for him to die, which is why it's slower. But then if he's dead, you can get his gun. So either like that, or you just place the spring razor, wait, and then scroll towards him to get the gun. Make sure you don't pick up the sword, because having a sword out makes you run 20% slower. So you don't want a gun sword throughout the entire route. This is one of those places where if you by accident press on the wrong part of Campbell, you can get his sword. Not good. Then you want to bring Blink back out and slip clip back through this door. Pick up that rune. And then slip clip right here. Just going to kill that guy for explanation's sake. You want to either slip clip through here or through over there. Through here has been traditionally easier for people. Over there can save you a little bit of mana and also be easier in other ways. If you're not having problems with the slip clip, then doing that should be completely fine. Then you just want to heal yourself and fall down here. Another thing I'd like to mention is that to fall to that door and survive, you need quite a bit of health. If you don't have any more health potions, there's one right here, so you can drink that, or pick that up and drink that before doing this, if you're out. But we picked up one at the start of the split when we moved through the guard post. So if you are en route and haven't been hit by anyone, you should be fine. But if not, there's one extra there. The other variation is by moving over here and then slip clipping through that wall. This brings you right on top of the door, and you also can run down here while regenerating mana, giving you a little bit more. The problem is that because there's a door out of bounds here, if you're standing too far forwards, you'll have problems slip clipping through, and it can be a bit harder. The good thing about this, though, is that it's quite a lot easier to just fall to the door like that. And then right here, it's just blink, blink again, blink. Then we want to do a damage cancel down on some weird rocks that have some strange detection so that you can damage cancel even though you've fallen really, really far. The way we set this up is by running towards this. You want to be still holding forwards, but you want to be pushed up against it before you blink. So you want to do it like that, and then you'll get the damage cancel. Right there, I couldn't line it up properly because I had waited too long for the boat to move. But if you just aim for the left mast of that boat, you'll get the damage cancel. Then onto the Samble glitch. Samble is done by interacting with Samuel on the frame before he puts away his cigarette. So you see that if I blink down here and lower my frame rate, you will see he puts it away after about a second. And by blinking to this exact spot, you see that right there. If you blink to that, his timing for putting it away will be consistent. So you aim there. Then you blink to him, lower your frame rate, and wait a specific amount of time. It is about a second, but the timing is completely arbitrary. This is just a setup we found that works. And so it will be a little hard to learn how to actually do this. It takes a lot of practice. You want to blink there, lower your frame rate, and then scroll slowly to interact with him. If he doesn't say anything and just goes straight into this dialogue option, then you know you've done it correctly. That skips everything he would say before that dialogue option, so it saves about 14 seconds, but because of the setup, we only save about 10. So, aim right there, blink, lower your frame rate, wait for the specific amount of time, scroll slowly so that the game picks up the input. If you scroll too quickly, it will ignore the fact that you let go of the input, and if you scroll too slowly, it just won't register in time. So finding the timing for that too is important. I would really recommend not free scrolling and not using the macro here. Try to do it scrolling slowly. So, blink, lower FPS, interact with Samuel. If you hear Samuel say anything at all, like "Hey Corvo," then that means you were too late to interact with him. Also, if you see him put away a cigarette before you interact with him, you were also too late. It can be a little bit harder to know if you were too early. And that's Samble, and that's the end of Campbell. Then, for another very quick note. Once you get down to Campbell here, you want to have 2 blinks left over for the start of the next split. And therefore, you want to wait here until that blink happens before you do Samble. So you want to wait until you have 2 blinks. Right now, you can see by my amount of mana that I have 2. So what I usually do is that while that is regenning, I line up my camera, and then as soon as I have enough mana, I do a quick save, so I can do multiple attempts at Samble. I would really not recommend when you're starting out to try to do more than one attempt though, because this doesn't save that much time, and each time you set it up, you lose about 2.5 seconds. So just try it once, and then if you don't get it, just take the L and talk to Samuel normally. But once you get like about a sub 34 time, you can start resetting that point a lot more once you get really consistent with Samuel. Okay, so Weepers is quite short, but there's a few things to mention. You want to start by doing an ask from this cutscene onto the chat that puts you to sleep. You also, this cutscene right here, when you go to sleep, refills your mana and health. So you want to be out of mana when you enter it, which is why we wanted to have 2 blinks at the end of Campbell. And right here, you just want to run over and damage cancel out the window, landing on that pipe, then getting to the basement. Sliding here is a little bit faster if you do it the right way. And you want to grab the key through the door, blink over here, kill both Weepers with 1 Spring Racer, pick up both runes, blink back up, upgrade to Agility 2, slip them through the wall, get to Havelock, and then run out of the bar while regenerating mana, blink twice, and that's the end of Weepers.
Take you to the Gloden Cat. I expect I want to congratulate you.
You want to start holding F for this cutscene before Corvo starts putting away his mask. Otherwise the ass won't work. And then you want to turn your camera around during the cutscene over here. In some of the cutscenes it will reset your camera location, so it doesn't matter, but here it will actually stay over here. So you want that. Then it's just 2 blinks to get up here while still holding F. Then press the prompt afterwards. Go to sleep. When you wake up, you just want to move over here, like slightly through the door, and look out the window and blink. Then you will land on this, getting a damage cancel, and you can move on down here. Then to get through here, you see that if you just run at it, you will grab the chain, which is not great. If you slide, however, you will get past the chain, but you will get stuck right here. So what you actually want to do is slide into it and then hold backwards while you're falling, which means that you won't get stuck. And then just keep running forwards. Then for right here, if we slip through this door, you can see that there's a key there. We want to pick up that key. And we can do that by just moving right into the corner here, leaning left, and looking at about the height of the bottom of the keyhole, but right where the door meets the wall. So right there is the key. If I wanted to, I could just pick it up right now, and then move on past it. First, I want to show you how to do it a little bit faster. So you just want to move into the corner, lean, do that, and then you're through. And as I get over here, you can see that both Weepers are not together, since I took quite a bit of time to get down here. There are different ways to kill them. One of them is to just slide into them so that they fall into the water, because Weepers can't swim. Another would be to use the gun if you have picked that up from Campbell. That would use 1 of your ammo. You would still have 1 left over that you could use in Boyles, if you bought the extra bullet, that is. I would like to reiterate, however, that killing both Weepers with 1 Spring Razor is not all that hard, and that should be the preferred method. The other ones are just if you mess up. So, even right here, I have a few mistakes going down. You can see both Weepers are still close enough together to where I could kill both of them with 1 Spring Razor. And after you've killed both the Weepers, you just want to get both runes, blink back up here, and then upgrade to Agility 2. Then it's on to these 2 slip clips. There's 2 different variations for getting through this wall. One of them is a little bit easier, the other is a little bit faster. In general, though, I really wouldn't recommend trying to go for this slip clip before you're really used to how slip clipping works, because this is one of the harder ones in the run, and it only saves like 5 seconds. If you don't want to do it, you just move over here, go through this hatch, and into the bar, and you're right in the same location as if you did the slip clip. The other variation is to stand on the very left of this pipe at about this length into the room. If you stand too far forwards, you can get stuck on that thing. If you stand too far backwards, you are simply not by the wall you should be slipping into. So just kind of in the middle here, on the very left side of the pipe. And then you want to just line up kind of forwards. At the bottom of that girder over there should be fine. And then you slip clip through. Right here, there's first a bit of water. So right now I'm in the water, but on the right here there is a floor. If you can slip clip and get all the way over here, this is ideal because then you can just turn around and blink over there. If you land in the water though, that's also not a big deal. So do that a little bit faster once more. So you want to get on top of the pipe, slip clip through. Now I'm all the way over on the floor. I can just blink over here and I'm in the cutscene. And this warps just through the floor at the start of the cutscene, so we don't really need to think about that. So you want to get on top, slip clip through, blink over there, and start the cutscene. The other variation, which is a little bit slower since you have to run further into the room before you blink, but doesn't require you to flick your camera at all, which this one requires quite a bit of flicking to get far enough into it, is to just line up so you're standing on the very end of this part of the floor towards the wall. Then you want to look at Havelock before leaning. Since I have sticky lean, I will no longer be holding E, and then move forwards and right, and then just blink at the right timing. You will end up in the water, but at such an angle where you can just blink right away to get back up there. Once again, just a little bit faster. Like that. Then for the end of this, as I mentioned, it's just run out here, do one blink there, interact with Samuel. And that's Weepers. On to Gloden Cat. This might seem like a simple split, but there's a lot to mention here. The main thing is that this mission has two different RNG setups. The two Pendleton brothers, which we are here to kill, can be in two different configurations. One is known as good RNG and one is known as bad RNG. These are equally fast with the current route, but good RNG is still preferable as it is easier. Voetiem gets bad RNG in his run, and because he is a god at the game, he was able to do it without losing any time. There's also wrong warp to mention, and I will be covering a lot of things as I get to them.
I'll lay low, but keep an eye out for you and the little lady you bringing back.
At the start here, though,
Good luck.
start of this movement is just like in Campbell. Blink up there. Get the potion. Get on top of this. Damage cancel down. Then, as I mentioned in Campbell, you actually have to remove the whale oil tank here because you can't blink over. Get a free potion along the way. Enter the next area. Blink up into this house to get the rune. Get up to Emily to activate her timer. And then slip up through here, getting into the main room. Bo got bad RNG, so he goes down here to kill one of the Pendleton brothers. Gets back through the floor. Blinks up here to kill the second Pendleton. Damage cancel back down. Get the last rune of the run. Get the key to exit the area. Shoot that guard if it's in the way and you have the gun. Then Emily turns around. You upgrade to blink 2. And you want to leave the area. Then pick up the potion. Blink up here. Just a bunch of pretty precise movement to get to the end.
Are you both ready to go?
Corvo, you must have worked wonders out there in the city tonight. I can't believe my old eyes.
So, blink up here. Get over the fence. Pick up the potion. Get up here. Damage cancel setup is still the same as in Campbell. Then you want to take that whale oil tank and get the potion. The potion is not necessary, but it is free because of the way we flick past it anyway. So if you remove the whale oil tank by using the scroll wheel, and then you just flick your camera over the potion, you'll get it for free, which is what we do. Then you want to blink over here and get to this door. This door right here has the potential of setting up a wrong warp. If you press the prompt that is on the screen right now multiple times, you will sometimes input another interaction with the door after you've actually interacted with it. Meaning that the next time you enter this area, this menu will pop back up. So, when you're getting to this door, feel free to spam it as much as possible, but on this very prompt, only press it once. It takes about a second before you can press it, which is why a lot of people try to spam it to get it as quickly as possible, but just learn the rhythm of it, use the audio cue of the weird warping sound, and just do it once. So So my monorail is going to look a bit weird here because I'm on a practice save, so my monorail is not completely correct. But I'm doing it as if it was. Only pressing F once. Now, as soon as we enter this area, we will have the RNG decided for us. Upon entering the area where the RNG happens is where it is decided. Same thing applies to Boyle. So as soon as you've gone through this door, the RNG is set, and whichever you have will be the same for this one run through. If you want to practice your RNG and therefore switch between them, you have to go back before this door was opened for the first time when playing the mission. So I'm going to be showing off what's known as good RNG first, and then bad RNG afterwards, before moving on to the end of the route. So for both good and bad RNG, you want to start by moving through here, picking up this rune, getting out here as quickly as possible, and getting up to Emily. As soon as you talk to Emily, the routes diverge. And talking with Emily puts her on a timer where she's running all the way back down to the end of this area where we want to exit. If we can get down there before she is there, we can avoid a glitch, which I will be covering because right now I will be quite slow at getting down there since I'll just let her run for a while and I'll be explaining stuff along the way. So we will get bad cycle here. I will show you how good cycle looks afterwards. So for good RNG, you just want to slip through this wall. The way you can see that it's good RNG is right while you're out of bounds here. You see those lamps right there? Those are a light shade of red and they're glowing. That means they're on. That means that room is in use. And that means it's good RNG. That lamp right there is off. If the lamps right here are the same color as the lamps there, that means you got bad RNG. So for good RNG, as soon as we've gone out of bounds, we just want to move down here and then slip through this wall. Then we want to run over here, throwing a grenade over that wall to kill that Pendleton. It's quite lenient, so you don't really have to worry about a setup. Then you just want to blink down here, killing this Pendleton with a spring razor, picking up both potions. Blink over here, pick up another potion, pick up the last rune, blink over here, take the key from her. She can either stay right there, or she can move into that corner. Either way, just get the key, and then blink down to Emily. Then while you're running towards Emily, you want to upgrade to Blink Chill. The fastest way to do this, or the most consistent way of doing it without losing time, is to sprint forwards, jump, and while in air, open the powers menu, press right or D, press F, and then close the menu again. And then as soon as you've exited the menu, just keep running forwards. So as I mentioned, there is a glitch here. You can see Emily's turned around looking at this marvelous wall. We want her to be turned around to where she's looking this way. And right now, if I were to go through that door, the quest would not have updated saying that Emily is in the right location because she's turned around like this. So to fix this, you simply sprint into her, moving her out of location. The quest updates, and now we can leave. That's the end of the good RNG. From here on out, it's the same as with bad RNG. So I'm just going to go through it once again, and then we'll get on to bad RNG. So, moving now with Emily. So this is going to be me showing you how to get good cycle. So blink through here. You can see you got good cycle if you get down there before Emily. So pick up both of those. Yes, that guy shot us, but we can still make it. And then we need the key from her. Then, as we're down here, you can see now that Emily has not yet turned around in the background there. So then we just want to do the same thing. Open the menu like that. Then Emily will just turn around right away, since we were fast enough. And then, once you've upgraded, you just want to go through this door, and that's the end of the good RNG part. Then for bad RNG, as I mentioned, it's the same as with good RNG up until you're at Emily. So, after activating Emily, we want to get up here and then blink out of bounds. Since those lamps are off, we know it is bad RNG, and therefore we want to move down here. To fall into this corner, we want to do that in a precise way so that we can set up a grenade in the right way. So you want to just go into this corner completely and fall down here. You will sometimes get a hard fall. So fall into the corner, lean, and then you see where this line in the background meets the right side of that upwards line. You want to aim right there. Lower and to the right is better than higher and to the left with this setup. Now, when we throw this grenade, it will bounce and then go into the room down there, killing the Pendleton that is in there on bad RNG. Then you just want to bring out Blink while still leaning and Blink up here. Then right now, I'm still under the floor and I cannot get out. If I do the climb up prompt right here though, I'm in a special position where I'm kind of stuck under the floor. And on version 1.2 of the game, you can just uncrouch to get through this floor. So the same thing as we did in sewers. So uncrouch and you're through the floor. Pick up this potion, blink up here, kill that Pendleton with a spring razor. Then just aim right there to get a damage cancel on the floor. Blink again, get the rune, get out through here, get the key. Same thing as normal. And then we're down by Emily. And again, upgrade to Blink 2, push her, and we're through. So at a bit of a quicker pace, that looks like this. I would like to mention that for bad RNG, it is a lot harder to get the good cycle on Emily to where she is not stuck, because it is much tighter on time. So although they are equally fast, it is usually seen as harder to do bad RNG quickly enough. So don't be discouraged if you're having trouble getting down here before Emily is turned around. But that is how bad RNG looks when done at the correct speed. Then you can just go through the door as soon as the quest is updated to being on the door. Then you want to go through right here. This is where the wrong warp would happen from the first door. If you got it, I will now insert a clip of the wrong warp happening before continuing. So as you can see, this menu is now open, the same as when we were at the door entering the Golden Cat. If I press go to the Golden Cat by accident here, you will see that I'm back over here, meaning that you lose a lot of time even by just trying to continue off of it running through here. So that's not ideal. The way you just want to do this, if you get the wrong warp, is by closing the menu by pressing stay on Clavering Boulevard. But even that loses about a second because the menu opens up and you can't blink right away. And then for this last part, you just want to blink straight away when you get through the door. Pick up that, jump and blink over here. Then you want to get on top of this. And here the route diverges into two different ones. I do a variation that looks like this. You want to blink through there, blink up here, down, over here, into this one before going to Samuel. If you did it during the correct speed for the entire split, the mana would mean that you were now completely out of mana. The other variation looks like this, where you still blink up, still go through here, blink up here, blink on top of this lamp now though, blink down, and blink to Samuel and Emily. And that's the end of Golden Cat. Bridge starts off with the longest break we have in the run. There is a longer cutscene at the start of Flooded, but during that one we have to hold F. So this right here is the designated P break of the run. It's about 1 minute and 40 seconds. Also, during this cutscene, the game refills your health and mana, and also at the end of the intermission that starts with this cutscene, it also refills your mana. So this part of the run is kind of in a vacuum. You just want to use all the mana you were allotted and not any potions. So mostly that just means blinking at full speed to get to where you want to be. Right here though, you want to wait a little bit to regen a little bit of mana to have enough for this last one before moving on to the main part of bridge. So for this section, we have to wait for a quest to update before we can leave the area. Otherwise we will soft lock at the end. So you can see that we're not doing a whole lot of blinks to get to the end of this section. Just slip through there, and then one more blink here right as you have regened all your mana. And then you wait at the door until the quest pops up on the door, then go through. For the rest of this though, it's quite a linear level. You just want to blink as quickly as possible to get as far ahead as you can. Destroy these two whale tanks with one grenade by throwing it on the right one. Double blink damage cancel down here. Damage cancel to get to this door. Get on top of this tank. Damage cancel over the fence to get to the next door. Start moving up to Sokolov. Choke him out while activating a glitch with the floor behind you here to allow you to sprint at full speed while holding Sokolov for a little bit. Then blink down here, blink to Samuel, and that's the end of it. So as I said, this intermission is quite simple. You want to start by blinking up here to Pendleton, preferably getting on top of this. You can just run across it to talk to him. Then just run around this corner and blink right away. This will bring you about here. If you then blink again, you'll be right by this door, which is where we want to enter. And then blink again to talk to Havelock and Martin. If you blink in the wrong way here and in some way aggro these guys, you can get a softlock here, which you really just have to reload an earlier save to get past. Kind of sucks, but it's very rare. Then you just want to turn around, blink over here, go out, and blink down to Samuel. At full speed, it looks like this. So just turn around here, blink, blink, go through the door. Wait a little bit so that you have enough mana for this last blink, because it regens while you're in the cutscene. So for the start of the actual bridge part of the bridge split, you want to blink once to get up here, wait a little bit to regen some mana, slip through here. That wall is very thin, so it's quite a simple slip to do. Then blink over that guy as soon as your mana has regened, and wait for this quest to update on the door before going through. If the quest is not on the door, Samuel will not be at the end of the split, so that loses a lot of time. Make sure that you have let the quest update to the door before moving on. Then this section is just a few blinks before we get to the arc pylon. If you're here getting a little bit slow, those rats will move into the arc pylon, activating it, meaning that it will shoot much quicker. So make sure you get here before those rats get there, because otherwise you will probably get murdered by the arc pylon. If those rats aren't there though, it's quite simple to get past it. You just want to blink there and blink again before it shoots, and then you're up here. And you want to move along this thing up here. But if you move forwards while jumping here, you can get stuck on that. So jump while standing still. Get over here. Open this door. Throw the grenade on the right one of those, because if you throw it on the left one, the grenade can bounce off of it, come out here and hit you, launching you off of the platform, which is not great because you die. Then you just want to bring out blink and move down here. You want to line up this double blink so that you're aiming at the line at the back there once you're jumping, and you want to jump once you're out there. So if you aim like right here, moving forwards, and then do the double blink, you will get a damage cancel. Then there's another damage cancel right here if you want to. Aim about here. Since you're doing this while moving, the setup isn't completely accurate, but you want to aim a little bit under this black line so that once you're moving forwards, you land on top of that, getting the damage cancel, and then go through the door. The other variation, the one I do that is a little bit faster but a little bit harder, is looking at that line right there. If you do that, you can do it in such a way that you interact with the door while falling, saving a little bit of time because you don't have to wait for falling quite as long. And for this part, you want to line it up so that once you have landed on the roof, you're looking at that white part right there. So you just want to come around like that, do that blink, then you're on top of this. And then again, with the white part ends, you want to aim there to get the damage cancel. So at full speed, it looks like this. That's that area. Then as soon as you've gotten through, just blink up here, over here, and then up to Sokolov. When we're picking up Sokolov here, there is a glitch that we can use to move a little bit faster. When you pick someone up, you move a lot slower, but if for some reason, if you just walk over a ledge like the one right there, you move at full speed while you're picking them up. You will still be slow once you have them on your shoulder, but during the animation of picking up, you can move at a higher speed. So what you want to do is blink over to Sokolov, choke him out while moving backwards, getting to the ledge. Then as soon as you have him on your shoulder, turn him around, and you can get out here moving at full speed. Then you want to refill your health, because this is a damage cancel. Aiming about there, lands you on the railing, getting down there. There are a few different variations of this. If you want to be a little bit safer, you can, for example, blink over there, landing on the guy's head, which means you don't take damage, but you move around a little bit. So just find the variation you're comfortable with. I usually aim a little bit like over here so I can land on their heads, meaning that I don't have to heal. But the strat that is used if you want to get a consistent fall onto the railing is to just run out of here and then aim like all the way down there. That will land you here, and then you're by Samuel. And if you did the route at full speed, you will be out of mana at this point. Then onto the dreaded Boyles. During this intermission, it's the same thing as the last one, where it refills your mana at the start and end, so you want to use all your mana but no potions. First though, you want to do an ass here from before he takes off his mask until right after. So then spam on the next input. Then right as we wake up here, we have another one of those inputs that seem like an ass but isn't. So first you have to do one dialogue prompt with Emily, and then there's a dialogue wheel, and that dialogue wheel can be activated before it's on screen. So just first do the chat with Emily and then press F immediately. And you can see the dialogue wheel pops up halfway done. Then damage cancel down here. Chat with Sokolov. Do a double ass, which is you do an ass right now, and you do an ass off of the ass, flipping through the door to do an ass with Trevor, and then getting to Samuel. I'll go into more detail on that later, don't worry about it. Then it's on to the actual bridge mission.
Better you than me.
So at the start of this, you just want to get on top of this lamp as quickly as humanly possible. Talk to Lord Shaw, which saves a little bit of time in the next split. Get up here and get indoors. Then you want to run over and kill one of the Boyles. Blink on top of here, reading a note that's out of bounds, getting a potion, and then if it was good RNG, you just want to strictly leave. This is world record, so Vo got good RNG. Then there's a few blinks to get out. Leave the area with no mana.
I hope you enjoyed your evening, sir. But we'd best be on our way.
This intermission is quite simple. Press F before Corvo starts taking off his mask to get an ass here. Then as soon as he starts taking it off, just start spamming F to go to sleep. When we wake up right here, we first have to press either F or enter right as this dialogue is over, and then right after that we can start pressing F before the dialogue wheel pops up. So I'm just going to spam enter, and then as soon as I hear it go through, I press F. Then after that you want to run around Emily there, blink here, then if you blink along the line above the door there, you will get a damage cancel. Blink to the door, go talk to Sokolov, go through that F prompt. Then off of this dialogue prompt right here, if I first press it then repress, we'll get an ass here. If I press F again, I can do an ass by slip flipping through the door. That's known as double ass. So at full speed that looks like this. Press the dialogue prompt, set up the first ass, repress again, slip through the door, get another ass, press F, and go through. If you're unable to get the double ass, that's not a big deal. It only saves about 1 second anyway. So when you're starting out, I might recommend just doing this. Get the first ass right here, and then just run to the door, open it, and run through. Do both F prompts, and then blink to Samuel. Again, when you go to sleep here, and at the end of this cutscene right here, the game will refill your mana. So just use as much mana as you want in this section without using any potions. And at the start of Boyles, there really isn't a lot going on until we're indoors, where we have the RNG section. We talk to Shaw here because when we're talking to Pendleton in the intermission after this, he will say a line if we don't talk to him. We don't need to actually interact with him in any more than just have the first dialogue, and then he will skip talking about it altogether. So we lose about a second here, but we gain a lot more than that in the next split. So blink up here, blink on top of the lamp, blink over the fence, blink to Lord Shaw, talk to him, blink up to the balcony, bring out your spring racer before going through. And then as soon as we enter here, the RNG is set. And I'm not going to explain exactly how this works. I'm just going to explain how we do the route. Because there's two different RNGs that we pay attention to in any percent. While there's technically 3 Boyles, only 2 variations work with the way we do this. Because we glitched the game by reading some notes we're not supposed to. So first I'm going to show you good RNG, and then I'm going to show you bad RNG. So for either RNG, you want to start by running to the left here, killing this Boyle sister, bring blink back out, and blink up here. When you then clip into this wall, you can see there are 2 nodes right now. There will either be 2 or 3. If the painting is right there, there will be 2. And when we read one of these, the quest will update, and it will point us to a Boyle. Since we're reading the notes out of bounds, it will not necessarily point us to the correct Boyle, but it will update whether or not we killed the correct Boyle. So, if the lady that was over there that we just killed was the Boyle that we're supposed to kill, we can move on. But since we're confusing the game by reading the notes out of bounds, we will not have it pointing to the correct one if that was not the one we were supposed to kill. So we either have to kill 1 or 3 Boyles. So as you can see, the white dress pop-up had a check mark. That means we got good RNG. So we can just blink down here, pick up this potion, and leave again. Then for the exit right here, you just want to blink right away. And then aim for that ledge right there while double jumping. And then aim down. And you will get a damage cancel. And just blink to the boat. Talk to Samuel. You want to blink to that specific part of the boat, because otherwise Samuel won't talk to you. This is not a trigger where you activate it. This is a trigger where you walk into it, so just pressing F on Sam won't do anything. But if you just blink to this part of the boat, you will consistently start the dialogue right away, and also skip another glitch, which I won't go too much into. Then for bad RNG, you want to start off the indoor section just the same way. You want to turn around here, go kill the first Boyle, blink up, and read the note. Then you still want to blink down here. And the game now says that Esma Boyle has not been killed, which means that we have to kill her. So you can spring racer that one, and then you can grenade that one, then blink over here like this, and you're out. Then from here on out, the exit is basically the same. We just skipped the first blink. So you start by running forwards here, blinking to the same location, blinking to the same location, and you're on the boat. Then I would like to mention that if you do end up getting bad RNG, you will have used all of your grenades, and you will need to pick up another one before throwing the nade in tower, which I will then show you next play. Tower. Tower, tower, tower. This is quite a simple split. You want to start in the intermission here by blinking to Pendleton. Again, this is one of those intermissions where the game refills your mana right before the intermission. So the blink rat here doesn't use any potions, but it uses all your mana. This dialogue with Pendleton is always surprisingly long, but this is the reason why we talked to Shaw in the last one, because otherwise he would say a line at the end of that. Then you want to go talk to Havelock and Martin, and then get back out. Blink to Samuel, and then on to the mission. So at the start here, you want to blink onto the rocks on the right, elevator onto the roof, blink over the roof, do a double blink, pick up a potion, blink again, pick up another potion. So first, elevator up, blink across the roof, double blink, get that potion, blink again, get that potion, and go indoors. We go indoors so that the regent will be on the roof, because he will only be in a safe room if you go indoors first and get found out. So then you elevator onto the roof, get into this corner, throw the grenade. Then you double blink back down. Blink down here. And then go to Samuel.
Is it all done?
So at the start of this intermission, your camera will be locked in place when he puts on the mask, so even if I look over here, it doesn't matter. Your camera will always be straight forwards. For this first blink, you want to just double jump right away. Without moving to the side, just double jump like this and then blink over, and then run forwards and blink for the other one. That way you get straight to Pendleton in just 2 blinks. Then during this section, you turn around over here. There's 2 reasons for this. The main reason is that Pendleton is really ugly. The other is that, well, you want to blink over here, so you have to flick your camera less at the end.
Already cooked up something more for you. They would like to see you now, in Havelock's chambers above the ball.
So just blink right away. Run over here. Talk to them. Run over here. Blink onto this. Blink over Pendleton. And here there's a few variations. A lot of people like to blink through here. I think that's a bit precise. So what I do is that I just blink over here, which amounts to the same thing. Both of those work completely fine and save no time whatsoever. So you want to start by blinking up here. Then I like to do the elevator right here, as it lines up really well with the next blink you're supposed to do at the top. Move into this corner, look about this line right here in the wall, maybe a little bit to the left of it. I like to sprint for this elevator, so I hold shift and then just do the elevator. Then you blink up here. And for this next part, I'm going to show you 2 routes. One that is easier and one that is really smooth and consistent once you learn it, but it's harder to learn. So I'm going to start with the harder one. You see that number right there? What you want to do is, as soon as you see that number turn to 154, you want to jump and then blink while looking at these, like, this part of the roof right here. So you just run forward, see 154, blink and jump. Then you're here. Then you want to line up your camera along this beam on Dunwall Tower, but above this part of that booth, because that's where you want to pick up the potion. So you want to aim like right there, and then just do a double blink. Pick up that, blink over here, pick up that potion, and then go indoors. So the hard route at full speed looks like this. The other variation that is a little bit slower but also easier is to blink over here, wait a little bit, blink again, and then go here and pick up the potion. It is just a lot safer if you're not very comfortable with double blinking, but it is a little bit slower. The easier route at full speed looks like this. I would also just mention that if you did use your grenade to kill the extra Boyle because you got bad RNG, the extra grenade that you would want to use for the tower grenade is right here. So you can just pick up the potion and then pick up that grenade and then blink indoors. Then once you are indoors, you simply want to pick up this potion and get these guards to notice you. So there he noticed me really slowly because I was standing still. But if you just run in, open the door, and then turn around, he will see you by the time you exit. So if you don't have the gun, you can do it like that. However, if you have the gun, you simply want to move forwards, pick up that, and shoot there, go back out. That is just a little bit faster than doing it without the gun. It is why some people pick up the gun, but again, you can just walk into the doorway, have them notice you the normal way, and it's like less than a second slower. Then once you're back out, you just want to blink up here and do an elevator off of this. If you aim at the back corner right there, the elevator is quite consistent. Then you blink over here and blink over here. Then to do this grenade, you want to move into the corner between the wall and the door. Open the door. Aim above the Lord Regent, but along this beam right here. So that will mean right there. That will hit the Regent and kill him. And you just want to turn around, blink over here, blink into the air, and then double blink back down. That will almost always give you a damage cancel. You might have to heal afterwards, because right here we want to do another damage cancel like that. Then you just want to blink out here, and if you blink far enough down, these rocks will almost always break your fall. Blink over here, and then damage cancel onto the boat. A lot of people do struggle with the actual grenade and with that part of the route, so I'll show you an alternate route that skips doing the elevator. So just get up here. Do that. Pick up the potion. Pick up that potion and go indoors. So if you want to not have to do the elevator, you just run in here, stand on this chair, blink to this, blink to that, run up here, and go through the door. Then you vault that, blink here, get in the corner, line up the nade, throw the nade, kills him every time, and then do the route as normal. The indoors route is about 2 seconds slower than doing the elevator route, but if you for some reason you don't really like that elevator or you can't get the FPS for it, then going indoors is completely fine. It is faster than doing the non-lethal old route. That pretty much covers everything for tower. This double blink, like after you've gone off of that, this right here is very weird, so I'd recommend playing around with that a little bit. And to get this damage cancel, you just wait until you're at the top of this, double blink over here, and land on the boat. And that pretty much covers everything in tower. So for the flooded intermission, you basically want to hold F for the entire thing. You want to start by doing an ass from this boat while blinking to the bar. You let Emily open the door so the ass doesn't break. So you're holding F here. Let Emily open the door. Ass here. Then a dialogue prompt. And then you ass off of that dialogue prompt. Blink out here. Climb up. Preferably blink all the way up, although Voetiem missed. Then, in this cutscene, you also want to do an ass. So first, you get an ass on the first prompt here. And then you ass off of the second one as quickly as possible. So ass is activated again for the third time in the intermission. And this cutscene right here is the only cutscene in the entire guide that I have sped up to 8 times its speed. All other are at 4 times, because this is just that long. This is over 2 minutes of stuff, so we cut it down to 15 seconds-ish here. So you want to move backwards here, then you get the ass done. Then it's on to brickless. Brickless is by far the weirdest of the slip clips we do in the 90% route, because it involves a jump input. It only saves like 5 seconds compared to doing it the intended way. So when you're starting out, maybe not go for it, but I would start practicing it right away. Voetiem does a very simple but efficient setup. It's very fast. It's very hard too. I will be showing easier setups. Pick up both of those potions. Make sure to not pick up the sword that's laying there. Do a double blink right here, preferably with a damage cancel. Blink over here, pick up the potion and the key. Damage cancel down here, preferably not a hard fall. Then you want to slip clip through this wall. Blink while you're in the out of bounds water here to get to the door. This skips the entire section with meeting Dowd. Then you want to blink on top of this thing. Go up there. Get that potion. Blink up here. Double jump to do a damage cancel here. Get that mana potion. Remove the whale tank. Get through. And go through this door. Then there's a slip clip right away after that. And then you get into the water. Lower your FPS. he does a quick saving here, which brings you to the end of the water stream, and then you're basically at the end of the flooded section. Then, for some reason, if you just lean here, you can just go through that wall. That's not actually a slip clip, although it looks like one. So, do an ass here before Corvo starts taking off his mask. Turning your camera around matters here because you are not snapped to a location during this last part of the cutscene. So right here, you can just move forwards and blink over Samuel. Blink again to the door. Then Emily will open it for you, and then blink into the cutscene. Do the dialogue prompt, and then an ass. Then wait for your mana to refill, and blink out here. Double jump onto this. Then you want to blink to get up here. That can be kind of tricky, but usually not. And then blink into the door. If you didn't wait for your mana to refill properly, you will not be able to do that last blink, but that doesn't really matter. Then you do the ass, as I said. Then you do this ass. And then I'm just going to skip to the end of this cutscene because it's so fucking long. So as soon as you get hit here by the assassin and the screen is black, if you just start holding back, left, and sprint, you can move right away and then just jump at the correct timing and you'll get that. Unfortunately, I didn't hold F properly for the 2.5 minutes, and so I didn't get the ass there. But if you just do the ass right after the prompt, you should get it. And it's brickless. When making your practice save for brickless, I would recommend not touching the keyboard or mouse during this cutscene at all, because the setup that I will recommend the most requires you to start in the exact position that you start in. So just make a practice save like I will show you right now. So just don't press anything on your keyboard while this is fading in. And then when you're looking there and the autosave has gone through, just make the save. Okay? So then from here, the way brickless works is through the drawing I will be showing on screen right now. So you see that this right here is actually not a circle, it's an octagon with the front cut off. We want to slip through the wall that is basically right here. If you just want to do it normally, you can jump or throw the bricks to go through here the intended way. And it's not very slow, but it is slower than doing brickless. So when you're in the spawn position, the setup that I would do, and that I actually do, is that without moving your camera at all, you move Corvo forwards until he's looking at besides the dot right there, besides that dot. So when he's looking here, then you want to move your camera to the bottom of this, like that. Bring out your blink, and then again, brickless is a weird trick. You basically want to flip into the wall, and right as you're starting to turn your camera, you want to jump. So you want to be like jumping to get over a thing that you can't see through the wall here, and then do the clip. This is a little bit hard, and there really is nothing else to it than you have to get good at it. So the way you do it is like this. You can see my inputs in the bottom left. I would really recommend slowing that down and looking at it again. So move forwards here. Look at that. And then jump, blink, and turn your camera. Another setup that also works, and the one that Voetiem does, is just, you know that the wall is right here. This is the wall you want to go into. If you go so far that you bounce on this corner, then you've gone too far backwards. If you're stuck in this seam right here, you've gone too far forwards. So if you can actually just line up with the wall and blink, that is the fastest way to do it, but that is also by far the hardest. So after you've done brickless, what you want to do is pick up both of these two potions, making sure to not pick up the sword because swords are slow. Then you blink up here, vault over that, and do a damage cancel here. The way you want to line up that damage cancel is by looking at the top of that roof, and then doing the double blink. Then move over here, picking up the potion and then the key. If you just look at the top of this sign, you'll get a damage cancel, and then just run to the door. So once you're over here, you want to slip through this wall. There are two different ways that people usually do this. One of them is right here, which brings you usually underneath the invisible wall. So that's really fast. But if you want to be a little bit safer, because if you blink too low on that one, you will probably go under the water. You can stand on top of this and slip like that. That brings you further up. And once you're in the water here, you can see that there's an invisible wall that we have to go under. So being higher up is not actually great here. But this is safer, and I prefer it. I would recommend doing it like that on top of the cart's wheels. So as you can see, I'm going up and down quite fast. The way you go up in this game in water is by holding space. The way you go down is by holding crouch. So once you're in the water here, if the invisible wall is in the way and you're far enough out from that to the point where you're sure that you're not just getting stuck on that, you just want to hold crouch until you're under it and then blink straight forwards. So blinking straight forwards, you can get over here like that. So now I'm just going to show you how it looks if you do it wrong. So let's, for example, say I go over here, I blink through, and then I hold it for too long, I will just fall and die. Not great. And if I get on top of this, slip through. Oh no, I got stuck on the invisible wall, and then I also die, because you usually get too much downwards momentum if you do it like that. So take this bit a little bit slow. It saves enough time to be worth it to slow down here. If you just get under the wall and then then blink straight forwards until you're close enough to blink down into this tube, then that should be fine. Then once we're through that, you just want to run out here while regenerating mana and then blink on top of this. Getting on top of this can be a little bit tricky because if you're coming at it with forwards momentum, you can go over it. And if you blink on it the wrong way, the next part will be harder. So I would recommend actually just moving forwards like this. And then once you're in air, stop your momentum by holding backwards. Then you want to blink up there. The problem with that is that if you blink to the left here, you get stuck behind like an invisible wall, and that goes pretty far up, so you can't even jump over it. So you have to jump around. So that's pretty annoying. So you want to, once you're up here, blink like that to get around the invisible wall. Then pick up the potion, blink over here, do that part as a double blink so you get far enough to get over that ledge. Then blink up here, just double jump to get down. I like to heal here first because it's a little bit scary. Pick up the potion, and then at least the mana potion. You can also pick up the health potion if you're afraid of that. Blink over here, just take that out. Blink over here, and blink to the door. The way I would recommend doing this is from your starting position, just turn around so you're looking right here, lean, and then if you just flick pretty hard once you're inside the wall, you'll get through, and you can start going on. This saves quite a bit of time, so I would recommend learning it right away. It's also just like one of those like tests of skill. Have you gotten good enough at slip clipping yet? So if you can't get it, don't feel bad. There are other clips available over in the other section where you're supposed to go that save a little bit less time but are easier. But yeah, with a little bit of practice you should be able to get that down. Then afterwards, you want to run over here and jump into this river. As you can see, this takes quite a while to get all the way over to where we want to be because we are trying to get to the end of this. For some reason, your speed in water when there is a stream is connected to your frame rate. So, if you lower our frame rate, Corvo will get to the end of this right away. One way to do this is just simply hold print screen, because then the game will lower your FPS to 1. This is how I do it. This is the fastest way to do it. But another way that is a slightly more consistent is to just quick save once you're in the water and then quick load. So just jump in here, quick save, then quick load, and we're over here. Then you want to blink onto that area over there directly. The way you can do that is to look at that corner right there, and then do this blink as a double blink, and you'll get on top of it. Then blink over here, stop here, and this wall right here, we can actually just blink through, as I mentioned. I'm not actually slip clipping here. For some reason, you can just blink through this one if you're close enough to it, crouching and leaning. I would also like to reiterate, because a lot of people struggle with this, you need to be crouching. There is like an invisible thing above here, so crouch to go under that, and then go over here to blink to the door. And as soon as you interact with this door, you're done with Flooded. Loyalists is really short. You want to start by climbing up here, because it's faster than running up the stairs. Grab the mana potion there, also the health potion if you want it. Get the key to get out. Run over here, read this note. Blink over to the tower. slip clip inside, pull the lever, you get those. As soon as you pull the lever, you have started a timer of Samuel coming towards you. You want to get all the way out till the edge of where you can go in the water here before Samuel does.
Thought I'd find you here.
This allows you to start the dialogue with him, that he drives away from you. Then you blink towards him, start the next part of the dialogue. Then he goes away from you again. Then you blink over to him. Quick save and quick load, which resets the dialogue he's doing right there. And then just takes you to the next mission. So as I mentioned, you want to start by getting over these stairs. If you just normally go over here, you'll get a full climb up animation. If you instead double jump up and then turn around in mid-air, you'll get a faster one. And right here, you can either climb it, or you can, if you get it, go over like that, or get a vault. Then you want to run in here, grab this mana potion and this health potion if you feel like you need it. This mana potion can be grabbed through this chair, so you don't actually have to run that far into the room. You can just do that. Then you want to grab these keys. You only really need the abandoned apartment key, but it's fast to just do that. Then right here, you can either try to blink directly behind that guy, or you can run around like this, blink to that side, and get in. Then once you're indoors, you want to read that note that's on the bar. And the easiest way to do that is to go to the right side of those guys. Like this. This also allows you to just turn around and do the next blink right away. It is a little bit faster to go in between them if you can, but that depends on how they turn around. Going to the right is consistently just quite fast. So then you just close the note, blink over here, go out, blink up here, slip clip through. Then if you are not really comfortable with the slip clip right here, instead of doing it, you could also just run this direction right here and blink to get in like this. Then the next trick we want to do is called FFFF for Fuzzy's Fast Freaking Fade Out. The way you do this is by swimming to Samuel in the water and then having him leave you, and then you go into him again to skip different parts of the dialogue. The trick starts as soon as you pull this lever, and because you have a little bit of time, you want to grab those two potions after you've pulled the lever. So to do FFFF, you want to do that, then pull those, jump here to get a damage cancel down, blink over here, making sure you touch the beach, because if you do not touch that beach, then you will not, then Samuel will not talk to you. Then right here, you want to aim for the tower in the background right there. So, again, get down here, damage cancel, blink here, touch the beach, get out towards Samuel. As soon as you hit a barrier here, you can see that I start like jumping in and out of the water. That means I've gotten the maximum distance. Aim for that tower and just blink. Then you fall into the water. Samuel swims away from you again. Then you blink towards him again. And then you quick save and quick load, which skips the last part of the dialogue. Then it fades out and you're done. So on to Kingsparrow. Last split of the run. It's really just a straight line to get to the elevator down here, picking up a couple of potions along the way and doing a double blink. So we want to start by getting the potion right here. Blinking on top of this. Getting that potion. Keep going upwards. Double blink over the chasm. Blink, blink. On top of the elevator, fall down the hole, pull the lever. Then at the top here, there are two different routes that I'll be covering. One that Voetiem does that saves 2 seconds, but it's really, really hard. And since it's only 2 seconds, it's not really worth doing unless you can get it first try. But anyway, he starts by blinking up here, clipping into this wall, clipping back out, getting the key, and then he's done.
Corvo! I knew you'd come. Is it going to be okay now? Will I be Empress?
Good luck, Corvo. If anyone deserves
So to start off here, just get the mana potion, bring up Blink,
my best to Emily.
blink through here, blink forwards, and blink on top of this. Then you double jump, blink here, picking up that potion, blink up here, and blink here. This double blink right here has traditionally been quite hard for people. The way you want to line this up is by aiming right there at the roof above the arc pylon, and then just doing the double blink. That will give you a damage cancel. Then you can just move on like this. Getting into this hole can sometimes be a little bit tricky. You can get stuck on some invisible ledges. I find that it's easiest if you're getting stuck here to just go in from this side, because then it's wider. Just sprinting at it. And then as soon as you fall down here, you just want to pull the lever. Then, as I mentioned, 2 different routes. I'm going to start by covering the harder route. But again, I really wouldn't recommend doing it when you're starting out. This is only for like when you're getting very, very close to world record. Another thing to mention though is that right here at the start, the game will make an autosave for you. And if you by accident blink out here while the autosave is taking place, you will make an autosave where you're falling to your death, which is not ideal. This is also easier because while it might not seem like it right now, I have blink out. You start with blink out here, and your hand just bugged so it isn't visible. So if I, right as I was starting here, by accident pressed right click to try to bring out blink, I would blink like this, and then I would be dead. And since I now waited, it didn't happen. But oh yeah, actually it did. Yeah, so it will make that autosave, which then just kills you, which is not great. For the harder route, you just want to blink up here, slip clip inside the wall, and then this blink right here is the one that is hard, and the reason why I wouldn't recommend doing this at the start. It's a very weird slip clip. You gotta blink very early in the flick. It feels very different than other ones. Also, the wall is really thick, and the floor here is really dodgy, so you don't have a lot of space. So I really wouldn't recommend doing it because of this slip clip right here. But if you're gonna do it, you do it like that. And you blink over here, pick up the key, blink over here, and finish. Then for the easier route, you want to start by going out the right side of the elevator, blinking up here, double jumping out and blinking again, getting over here, blinking here. If you just lean, you can usually get past that guard. Then you blink on top of this railing, blink and get the key, and then you run to the door. It's a little bit slower because of that little run part at the end. But it really doesn't lose a lot of time, and it's much, much more consistent. Also, if you're scared about the blink right here, you can also just do it like that to be very, very safe and just run up here. Then blink to this guy, get past him somehow, blink up here. If you just blink, like, kind of at the E in Havelock's name, you'll land so that you can pick up the key right away. And then you can run over here to finish. And that's Dishonored.
Is it going to be okay now?
That's all of it.